Hello and welcome to the Supernatural track here at Continual. I'm your host, Gail Martin, and tonight we are talking about enemies and frenemies. But before we start into all that, let's let our wonderful panelists introduce themselves, starting with Elektra.
Hi, I'm Elektra Hammond. I'm a writer and an editor, and I've been a fan of Supernatural since that very first episode aired, all the way until the last one just made me cry. Sorry.
That's okay. Amy?
Oh, I'm right there. I met Supernatural when they were in about season 9. Went back. Well, went back, watched, and I do write, but I don't write anything about this, and I've not been published. But this show has helped so much.
Okay.
Oh, and I sobbed so hard at the end. I literally sobbed so hard at the end. I thought I wasn't going to catch my breath. Not kidding. Okay.
I'm Gail Martin, and Morgan Bryce. As Gail, I write epic and urban fantasy. As Morgan, I write urban fantasy, male paranormal romance. But all of my worlds are ones Sam and Dean could walk into and feel right at home. I fell in love with the show halfway through season 9. Binge watched all the seasons before the beginning of season 10, and fell down the rabbit hole and haven't come up for air since. So, let's start with public enemy number one, frenemy, and that would be Rowena. Elektra, what do you think?
Crowley.
Oh, we'll get to Crowley next.
Okay.
Well, Rowena, just because the actress is so small, diminutive, and she dresses so prettily, it's hard to believe how much punch there is packed in that beautiful red-headed body. She is just so amazingly awesome, the way she can casually throw off a spell and make people so, turn them into dogs, make them attack people. She's just remarkable. The actor, the character, she's one of my absolute favorites.
Yeah, me too. Amy, how about you?
Well, you said my screen is frozen, so I'm not sure how to.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. I'll figure that out. I agree. Rowena is just, I love that she doesn't care, and yet she does. And that's what I love, is you can always see her kind of tossing between the two. Like, she cares, but she really wants for herself, but it means she doesn't care about others. And you're right. She punches a lot in a little package. But I love the way that she continues to be beautiful in the world. She wants to be in the world, even though she's not really of it, because she's beyond it, because she's been alive for so long. And she's got magic in her hands, but she's not, that's why she's a frenemy. She's not really evil. She does evil things, but I don't know. I love her. I loved her.
I love that, Amy. She's not evil. She just does evil things. She's not bad. She's just drawn that way.
Yeah.
Well, she's a little more on the amoral side. She's not.
Yes.
She will do what profits her for the most part in the moment, and if it also profits you, that's good. I think we see some cracks in that armor the times that she does endanger herself to help the boys out, and we see that more as the relationship deepens. Yeah. She's this being of immense power, but there's also this tremendous insecurity underneath it from her mortal history.
You got it.
I think that makes her very relatable and very likable, even when she has done bad things. And she's not really chasing atonement. She doesn't really care what God thinks. I mean, they've met each other, but she she follows her own path, and she, frenemy. I wouldn't count on her, but I wouldn't count her out. And so it is that um, moral gray that makes her really fascinating, I think.
Yes.
Not to
Gail,
mention the wardrobe. I mean, that
Gail,
wardrobe.
can I disagree with you there on the
Sure.
count on her? Whenever the chips were really, really, truly down, like when she had to hold the portal open into the God, the other world,
Hmm.
she just seemed to be holding it together through sheer will to hold that
Okay.
portal open. When the chips are down, if she says she's on your side, she's on your side.
Okay. I stand corrected. That
Well,
you're
no,
very
no,
right.
no, no. I know. I agree with both of you. She is when she wants to be on your side. That's where I think she's human. I thought her end. I I wrote this on the Facebook thing, her Facebook um thing, when the episode aired where she jumped into the hole, right at the end. And I was like, oh man, I hope you're not becoming. You didn't do that just to become the queen of hell, because I think she knows how to play both. She knows how to do for herself, and that's what she's felt, and she knows also how to get what she wants, and she wanted to be queen of hell, and apparently now she is, but we don't know because the show stopped. But also, I want to say this: she as bad of a mother as she was to Crawley or Fergus, she she was really, she is mothering in certain times, especially we're talking about Dean in It's Not Yellow Fever. What's the one where he's the story of Dean, or what is it called, where Dean's starting to lose his memory?
Regarding Dean.
Regarding Dean, thank you. Yes, she's she actually knows what to do. She just didn't do it when she was an actual mother. So I feel like she's, I want to say this, I feel like she is more truly human, or put it this way, they write her as the both sides of being human, where we're
Mhm.
out for ourselves, but we're out to care for others. We need others because we know we need them, but we're also out for ourselves. I felt like they wrote her really well. That's,
Okay.
I'll
She
stop.
truly cares about,
Yeah.
no matter what she says, she cares about Crowley and she comes to care for the boys.
Yeah.
And if she cares about you, she's really there holding
Mhm.
you up.
Yeah.
She even cared about Gabriel there
Yep.
in her
All
way.
right.
Well,
Crowley.
behind the
Yeah.
bookshelf, Gabriel behind the bookshelf, right?
Um, what do we have to say about Crowley, Elektra?
Oh, well, Crowley is just awesome. I mean, just the whole movement from everybody pointing out that, well, what can you do? You're just the king of the crosswords, was king of the crosswords, and king of hell. I mean, just, and the way he became a dependable ally for the boys. And it was always the little bits. He borrowed Bobby's soul, and when he gave it back, he fixed Bobby's legs and didn't mention it. Because, it was boring having him in a wheelchair. And he was honestly trying to do a good job with hell, with the
Yeah.
cards he'd been dealt.
And I think that's a brilliant thing about both Crowley and Rowena is knowing their backstory and how much they had to overcome to make them scrappy and survive. It definitely creates sympathy and gives insight into kind of the dual nature that they grew up and came up through life very hard, Scrabble.
Mhm.
and it made them who they are even in the afterlife.
Mhm.
Any other thoughts on Crowley?
No, I agree totally, and I think that well, I mean, both Rowena and Crowley, you know, there are times you just want to kick them, but they always do work, even though they're working for themselves. Somehow they make that work for others. But what I find interesting in this show is that there are times where, you know, call it Demon Dean, you know, where the boys have to rely on them, because I think what they're talking about, Crowley and Rowena, are a part of our human nature that we don't want to admit, or that we don't always want to visit. And the boys have to. And so I think that those two characters really do that. And I love Crawley when he does, for Bobby, when he's like, oh, you know, and you know, you could have corrected that, or you know, you get more if you word it right.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so he gives Bobby his legs, and
Okay.
and it was, you know, it's like, yeah, you're a butthead, but okay, good on you, right? You know what I mean,
Yeah.
right?
Well, since we're
Well,
talking about Hal,
one more, Gail. You
yeah.
can tell they're mother and son because of their sense of style.
Hmm.
They're both always so nattily dressed.
Yes, this is
Good,
true.
good, yes.
Well, while we're talking about Hal, let's throw in Meg. You know, she's a demon, um, but she ended up helping when the chips are down.
Mhm.
And Elektra, thoughts about Meg?
Um, I find Meg a really fun character. I mean, Meg's the one who started calling Crowley, who couldn't remember who he was, Clarence, because aren't all the angels named Clarence?
Oh no, it wasn't Crowley. It was
Castiel.
yeah, Castiel.
Sorry, did I get the
Uh,
wrong name in there?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, I meant Castiel.
Yeah.
And she came up with this weird relationship with Cass when he was unable to fend for himself, really. And staying with him and keeping an eye on him was just, she didn't have to do that. She chose to do that out of some weird, warped, demony sense of affection.
Mhm.
And it was just lovely. Whenever she helped, there was always a catch of some kind, but it didn't mean she wasn't actually helping them. She put herself at risk a number of times
Mhm.
to help them out. And it was terrific that she'd put skin in the game for them, and sometimes she literally got tortured trying to help the boys.
Yeah.
There's a lot there to like, even if she is, demon. We have a lot of friends from different cultures.
Well, and I think
Thanksgiving must be great at their house.
I think it's interesting that the name Clarence comes and tied to an angel comes from the very sappy Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life. So here's a demon who is quoting a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
You know, there's
The
just something,
Christmas movie. Well, I
the
mean,
Christmas
other
movie.
than Die Hard.
Well, yeah, yeah. Amy, any thoughts on Meg?
Yeah, no, yeah, but that's the whole thing, is she knows to call him, you know, the tree topper. I love it. And calling him Clarence. She knows who he is, but I again, I think Supernatural does a very good job with, usually, sometimes, you know, sometimes it feels like everybody's tired when they're writing, but they do a really good job at showing the humanness of the supernatural people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think I love Meg, and I'm sorry, I like the second Meg. I'm sorry, I'm totally missing her name right out. Who's the second Meg? The
Mm-hmm.
one that has the thing with Castiel and the pizza man, the kiss. Oh, what's the actress name?
That's okay. People can look it up.
Yeah, okay. I love her. I thought she was. I don't want to say the best, but I am going to say she's the best. She was so perfectly funny, and it feels like, yeah, okay, she did something wrong, and she kind of tends that way, but she got you die in a bad place and then you're stuck in a bad place, but it doesn't mean you still can't do well.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's what I like what they bring through all the time on the show.
There's a self-determination
Yep.
and an idea of you shape your own future despite
Even,
the
even
gods and monsters and
exactly,
fate.
even if you're beyond the veil, even if you even there's still something. I love that. I love that.
So adjacent to hell is purgatory, and that's where Dean met Benny, the
Yep.
vampire. Benny didn't stop being a vampire just because he helped Dean get out of purgatory. They formed an alliance down there just to not get eaten by other monsters. Um, Sam certainly never trusted Benny. Benny wasn't sure he could trust himself. But he did a real solid for Dean,
Mhm.
helping him get out of purgatory.
Mhm.
Um, Elektra, what do you make of Benny?
Uh, I appreciate that Benny helped Dean get out of purgatory, and I loved watching his redemption arc where he tried to take care of the guys that double crossed him and sent him to purgatory to begin with. And I really just when we found Benny later and he's working as a cook in his granddaughter or great granddaughter's restaurant, and she doesn't know the relationship, and it's just such a wonderful thing that he's keeping an eye on her and working and keeping, odd hours as vampires tend to do. And it was just so adorable. And I'm sorry Sam never really got to understand Benny and the relationship his brother had with Benny, because it was so it was a different kind of brotherhood forged in a different kind of place.
Yeah,
Mhm.
very well said.
Yeah,
Amy?
yeah, very well said, Electra. I agree, and I think that's part of if Sam, well, maybe Sam couldn't understand it because that was a jealousy on Sam's part. Of like Dean can't have anyone else.
And Dean, and to be fair, Dean is just as jealous when Sam has,
For
a buddy.
Ruby and Meg and yep, yep, exactly. But I love Benny. I really loved Benny. And again, I'm going to go back to what I've been saying. I just felt he is most, not all, most of the evil on the show, they show as redemptive, or at least redemptive able. Um, I don't know that. Certainly some of them aren't. But Benny, I think it didn't. Am I correct? You guys help me out, Electra, Gail. Um, did Benny? I know Castiel did for a little while, but did Benny also choose to stay in the purgatory? In purgatory, I know Castiel did for a little while, but help me out with that because I think he did. I don't know.
Electra?
I think he did the second time he went back.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
Yeah,
think he felt that there was no real place for him outside of purgatory.
I
Mhm.
think okay. That's what I thought too. And
Yeah,
and
that
thank you.
was,
I remember him saying that,
yeah,
telling Dean that's where he belonged, and Dean trying to talk him out of it.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
agree.
yeah. Okay, okay.
So I'm going to throw out another one, Arthur Ketch,
Ah,
British man of
Oh,
letters.
and his twin brother.
Yes, certainly a snazzy dresser, another one. Um, he was a hitman and he tried to kill the boys, but he kind of went freelance and did them a couple solid turns. What do you make of Arthur Ketch? Electra?
Some of Ketch was part of his upbringing in that darn British men of letters school, where they insist that you kill your friend in order to stay there, which is awful and barbaric. And I still don't know how they managed to hide that from the authorities. But all in all, I loved Mr. Ketch. I adored his redemption story. of somebody who was once the fixer for the men of letters and then went through this whole I'm going to, he died and came back and wanted Rowena to fix his get out of jail free card. And then he started working for good with Sam and Dean. And in the end, I think he sacrifices himself in Apocalypse World,
Hmm.
Okay.
which it just is the whole other end of things. He used to be Mr. I'm out for me and the British Men of Letters second. And after that, it was, well, I should maybe be helping people out since I know so much stuff and I'm good at so much stuff. Yeah, the modest thing never came to him.
Yeah, Supernatural did well with redemption arcs, and I think that's one of the reasons we love it. Amy?
Yeah, I agree. The redemption arcs are really good. I've always so first let me ask you guys, you two, was did I have always been confused, however many times I've watched. Did Ketch kill his brother in school? Was it his brother?
I haven't seen that
I
recently
don't
enough to
think we
remember.
found out.
Okay, thank you.
I think they adjusted records later so that it looked like there'd been I can't remember what he named the brother. It looked like there'd been another catch that had gone through the school so that he could use it as an alias.
Okay. See,
So he claimed that no, I'm not Arthur Ketch, who you had all those problems with. I'm now, whatever the name was, Ketch, his identical twin brother with whom you have no history, and you don't have to worry about getting into trouble with me.
That's why I've been confused forever. Which
Okay.
is Ketch? But
oh, go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
I was going to say, so back to hell, Lucifer does does the boy some good turns, but he's still the devil. So even more so than Crowley, he's glad that he helped out when he did. Not somebody you could trust because, did I mention he's the devil? But he did do them a few turns. So sometimes the frenemies turned over a new leaf and stayed that way. And sometimes they just helped out in a pinch and then went back to their evil ways, and that was Lucifer. Elektra?
Well, Lucifer had goals in mind. He wanted their help in, finding Jack and getting Jack to like him. And he wanted to be more like a Winchester because Jack liked the Winchesters. And he wanted to be a beloved dad without doing any of the work.
There you go.
And and he lived, Lucifer lived about a half hour from where I am now in Pikes Creek, Delaware. And I've driven around the neighborhoods there just to see if I could figure out where it is exactly he came from. I mean, I realized he lived in the version of Pikes Creek that was really in the Vancouver area, but I still fancy that I might be able to find his house if I look around enough.
That's
Okay.
The devil is from Delaware. That just seems so wrong.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the devil. Devil's in the details, right?
Yep.
That too.
But I'm making a joke.
I know. We've
Amy?
been doing it this whole time.
Yeah.
It was very funny for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope you find the house, and if you do, post a picture.
Because everybody knows hell is in New Jersey. I mean, really, not Delaware.
I've never.
Well, it's a very short commute.
That's true.
I mean, from where I sit, it's a half hour to New Jersey, also Maryland, and also Pennsylvania. Delaware is a very small state.
Yeah.
You guys are funny.
No, that's all true.
No, I get
it. It's a weird place to live.
I have a family from there, but never old family, old way back when. Anyway, I really think I love Mark Pellegrino. I love Lucifer. And I don't love Lucifer because it's Mark. I just, Lucifer is hysterical to me. I find him very funny. I find him, unlike Crowley, I find him kind of hapless. And that's why I find him amusing. And for as much as much power as he's supposed to have, he doesn't do very well. I mean, God does worse. I mean, Chuck, God,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Um, I just find Lucifer kind of hapless, but he's also very scary.
those red eyes are pretty spooky.
Yeah, exactly. And what I find, and I don't know if you guys find this, I don't find Crowley to be as scary, although I know he does worse in a weird way. I mean, maybe not on the large scale, but I feel like Crowley is more amenable or amiable. Like he could be his friend. I wouldn't want to be Lucifer's friend, but I also find him just to be kind of like the guy in the bar that, like, I'm not going to go talk to him.
You could buy Crowley off with the right bottle of brandy.
Yeah,
There you go. There you
good
go.
bottle of whiskey.
Lucifer, not so much.
Yeah.
He seems when he makes up his mind, he's very driven.
Yeah.
Crowley is always willing to negotiate.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
Now, I want to make sure we get to a couple more here. Metatron.
Mm.
So, originally he was the scribe of God. Then he, comes to Earth and starts doing bad things, tries to become God, gets defeated. But when he comes back, he tries to talk Chuck into going back into his old position and restoring the order. And then he ends up helping the Winchesters against the darkness, Amara, and sacrificing himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if Metatron was really intentionally written to be quite as annoying as I found him. But it was a good character. Elektra?
Yeah, he's a terrific character because there have to be annoying angels too, because there are so many of them that are so distressingly perfect. There has to be something annoying to balance them out.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that how they find him? They looked around to see where all those book deliveries were being sent, because he'll have one of each, please. And he just gets book deliveries from everybody. That was a great scene where they found him in the room at the end of the hall with the piles of books outside the room and the piles inside the room. It made me drool more so than any other episode. The boys are very, very pretty, but piles of books that I haven't touched yet. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Amy?
Yeah, no, I love the book thing too. And I think, again, Metatron I found him annoying as well. But
I think we were supposed to.
I think we all kind of did. However, the actor did it so well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he portrayed the annoyance. I think it was on purpose. Anyway, I like that he when he became stripped of powers, or when he was how did he become sort of imprisoned, or not imprisoned, but unable to use his powers, and he became so human, and he was like eating the waffles, with the whipped cream. I love, again, it was like, here's the divine trying to be human. I loved that about him, and I think that also plays into what Elektra is saying about the books. It's like, here's where it's really at. He has all the knowledge, but he's so into, like, but it's right here. Have you read this? I love that. I love the humanity of that.
Well, we seem to have switched from hell to heaven, so let's keep that going with Balthazar. Balthazar was the playboy and having a good time, and then kind of runs afoul of the Winchesters. But when, push comes to shove, he sides with Sam and Dean and tries to stop Castiel's plan to open purgatory, and pays for it. I thought he was very charismatic, and I thought the actor portrayed him brilliantly. And again, another complicated character who didn't get a whole lot of screen time to get across the complexity. Elektra?
Um, he he's an actor, and he played Balthazar to the hilt because we end up talking to him quite a bit, talking about him quite a bit, despite the fact that he wasn't actually in all that many episodes. Um, and part of that is that he was in, I think, one of everybody's favorite episodes, The French Mistake.
Yeah.
And just the justification for all of that meddling in time and moving people around, the claimed, well, I hate that stupid song.
Exactly. Yes.
Celine Dion is apparently a lounge singer somewhere, remaining undiscovered because the movie that made her famous never came out. Uh, but he's a showing you what happens when you have an angel who is in it for what can I get from me? How come I can be a total hedonist and just sort of, hang out with women and song and rock and roll and just get a nice apartment and just be.
Mm-hmm.
I can get 50 different bottles of gin and just
Yeah.
figure out which one makes the best martini because I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amy?
Yeah, I fully agree. And don't we all, I mean, do we think that that's kind of the contrariness? Because I love that you, Electra, that you brought up the Titanic episode, um, because it's so funny. Um, but it's like, okay, here's angels switching around things, not in a good way, but we have our demons, Crowley, Meg, Rowena. She's not a demon, but we know. Um, that switch things up in a good way. So this is what the show does. I love it. I love it. But I really, really do like Balthazar. You're right. He's not in it a lot, but he is always funny when he's
Okay.
there.
Gadriel.
Oh,
Um, he hides inside Sam after Metatron falls, ends up killing Kevin Tran despite saying that he wants atonement, gets deceived by Metatron, finally ends up seeing through Metatron and um, dies in order to free Castiel, and that helps bring Metatron's reign to an end. So, again, a very complex character. Didn't get to see him a lot, but I thought he did a lot with what he had to work with. Elektra?
He did quite a bit with what he had. Um, God, I can't remember the name of the actor who plays Gadriel when he's not inside Sam. Um, he was in the Dollhouse or
Mm-hmm.
Dollhouse. Um,
yeah.
one of the other things that we all used to love when we still thought that Joss Whedon was a good person.
Tom
Um,
O'Pennicott.
hmm?
Tom O'Pennicott?
Yeah.
Panic, yeah, and
Yeah.
he was also in Devil in Ohio,
He,
Devils in Ohio, and he
oh,
was really good.
interesting. I'll have to look that up.
It's a
Um,
really creepy,
he's
small.
he's a great actor. I've
Yeah,
seen him in a number of different things now, and he has a lot of range. But Gadriel, it turns out when we find out he wasn't just any old angel. He was an angel who'd been in jail since, Eden,
yeah,
which is a really, really long time. Um, and the maybe he shouldn't have been punished quite so harshly, but okay. And he's sort of playing his own little shell game with everybody and not telling everybody what he's doing. But okay, I'm not sure. They tried him on redemption, but I'm not sure he got redeemed as far as I'd like. But
Okay.
I sure had fun watching.
Amy?
I agree. I agree again. I feel like what they did with him, with that character, is they really did kind of stick to biblical stickiness of angels. They didn't allow him any freedom. He had to be the one. Galadriel had to be boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? He had to be that. He didn't know how to be anything else. There was no free will. So I think they did him well, but I think they didn't. They could have done more with it, but maybe didn't have time. I don't know. But I thought it was played very well.
Okay. Well, folks, we have come to the end of our time. So before we wrap things up, I want to give everybody a chance to say where we can find you online. And if you have a new, recent, or upcoming book, let us know about it. Elektra?
I'm Elektra Hammond. You can find me online at untilmidnight.com. And every Monday from 7 to 8, I participate in a group #WriteFant with a PH,
Okay.
not an F,
Okay.
where one of our group of moderators will pose 4 to 6 questions on some random topic, and we will try and get a discussion going as we answer them. It's a lot of fun, and everybody on the internet is invited. Out on Mastodon. Anybody who doesn't know how to get involved on Mastodon, send me an email. All my socials are out on untilmidnight.com, and I will help get you set up.
Sounds good. Amy?
Okay, wow. I really have nothing. I just have my own little business, and it's nothing to. I got nothing.
That's totally fan. That's totally fine. Being a fan is a-okay. That is all the qualification you need.
Not all house cats, not all cats go to shows.
That's true.
And not all people that participate in Continual are authors.
Yeah, or anything else official. Being a fan is totally legitimate.
Well, I've got other things, but I'm a fan. But I've got other things, but nothing that I would put up. It's so. Just let me say, very great and lovely to meet both of you. Thank you. And I'm excited to do more of these and to learn about the conventions stuff because I've never been and I want to learn. But
You'll catch on.
Well, congratulations. You did a great job on your first panel.
Yeah, you did great.
Well, thank you. And I'm sorry it froze, and I'll figure out how to unfreeze it someday.
That's okay. That's okay.
It happens to all of us.
Oh, it does.
But we owe Gail an outro.
I'm Gail Z. Martin and Morgan Bryce. As Gail, I write epic and urban fantasy. As Morgan, I write urban fantasy, male paranormal romance. You can find me at the .coms for both of those names. And if you spell them right, you'll find me on all the social media sites. I should mention, we left out Amara and Lady Bevel, who also had their turns as enemies and frenemies, but, we just ran out of time.
So there are more.
I'm sure there are.
We left out a bunch.
Well,
Ruby, Naomi.
Then we'll just have to come back and do another.
There are more.
There are
many villains.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being wonderful panelists. And thanks to all of you for watching and listening. There will be more Supernatural on Continual, so we'll see you in line.